Welcome into the PHNX Cardinals podcast on this Victory Monday presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. They're kicking off another week of action by giving all new customers a can't-miss offer. Bet just $1 on any football game this week and receive $150 in free bets instantly if you use the code PHNX to sign up. Frank, for the second week in a row, we are welcoming you back because you took the weekend off to go play some golf.
It's Frank.
Hey, look, I had some previous commitments, but it's great. It's always great to be back in the studio. I always miss you guys so much. It feels so weird to be out on a Friday and then missing you guys on a Sunday. It feels weird right now. We had a good rotation going, and then my schedule popped up, but now I'm back in studio for a good little while now, and I'm looking forward to that.
So this time around, were you able to watch the game?
I watched most of the game. I was in Dallas, and unfortunately, everything in Dallas is Dallas. So we're there, and I'm thinking, like, we got there prior to the game, we got there Thursday, and everything was empty. But then on game day, Saturday night, it was packed. We actually played the Cowboys golf course that's owned by Jerry Jones.
How is that?
Honestly, if you are a Cowboy fan, you dig it. You need to go play it. I mean, it's if you
can swing it.
It's about $200. It's all inclusive. We didn't have to pay that price because some of the guys who played were players. But the cool thing about it was that the golf course, in most golf courses, there are poles and flags that are different colors. Typically, his poles in the middle of the fairway are blue. There's big blue stars carved out into the golf course, which is, you just don't see much of that.
That's all. If you're a Cowboys fan, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And the only other cool thing about it was that it was kind of all-inclusive except alcohol and cigars, but any food, all the food.
Shame.
Cigars.
Well, I mean, alcohol and cigar, you had to bring your own vice, or buy your own vice. But honestly, it was pretty cool. If your tee time was at 8 a.m., you could get there at 6, have breakfast, play around the golf, get done, and stay all the way until dinner, lunch and dinner, and everything is still comped, except your vices. But it was
Frank,
a good time.
Instead of missing us, why don't you just bring me and Johnny with you next time?
Look,
and that way you don't have to miss us.
We don't even have to golf. We can just hang out.
I'm going to Vegas Sunday, so if y'all want to go, you can hop in.
Frank plays by his own rules, that's for sure.
All right, so Frank, what was your reaction then to the Cardinals getting that huge win?
I was nervous, but I was only nervous that I just didn't want Kyler to throw a pick. Like, I'm not saying
Why is that?
For more reasons than one.
Well, for more
sure.
reasons than one. We had a nice little wager on last week, and it was a good opportunity to, we were discussing a lot of stuff, and it was a lot of good information that was out there in between. Yeah. And it was rightfully, Johnny said some great stuff. Saul added some stuff, you did too as well. And we could be apprehensive all the way through our conversations the entire day. And then I just said, you know what? I heard something and it sparked me. You said, Kyler said that the Cardinals are different than they were in the past facing the Rams. And it stuck out to me that I felt like he was better. And then therefore, since he was better, he would play better. And that would make everyone else better around him. He wouldn't make the same mistakes. He wouldn't be caught, staring so much at Aaron Donald and worrying where he's at and Ramsey's at. He went and played football because he felt like he had the team to do it. So, and our bet ended up kind of coming to, in my favor. And so I kind of feel happy that I'm getting the spoils of victory in that conversation. I'm also happy for the Cardinals. You got to be. It's a great win. I mean, a lot of stuff we talked about over the last couple of weeks, how when watching them play Jacksonville, they didn't look like the same team. We established and said that sometimes there are games where the team, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do, or I might not show you what I'm going to do. And I think in Jacksonville, that was kind of a practice game on some things they would do formation-wise as well, offensively and defensively. And in this game here versus the Rams, I saw something I want to talk to you about it because I think it's pretty cool, is that the Cardinals did something entirely different building up to that game. Mm-hmm. And I think the Rams regressed. And we could talk about that a little later in the show on why I thought they beat them.
Why don't we talk about it now?
Oh, well, let's dive into it then. I thought they regressed because they used the tight end more because they were more fearful of our defensive line. Their tight end stayed more. If you go back and watch the film, you'll watch it. Their tight end stayed more to the line. He was more chippy. So they chipped and stayed in and chipped. And chip blocking is when you're the tight end, you're waiting for the defense fan to come up. you're going to give him a little nudge of the shoulder to push him back inside to the tackle. And therefore, the tackle it slows him down a little bit to give the quarterback more time. That showed me that they were more fearful of our defensive line. They did things. They ran the ball more. They looked like they were a different team on film than they looked previously versus the Bucs. And I think they were more fearful offensively and defensively with our skill set and our athletes. You say this all the time. The Cardinals, you start naming out stats and giving out facts about the players we have and what they bring to the table. But when you watch them and you watch a team like the Rams, how explosive they've been, how explosive they look offensively and defensively versus the last couple of opponents they played, especially the Buccaneers, they came and played the Cardinals like a totally different team. I didn't see that McVay magic of calling plays. I didn't see the quarterback look absolutely special. And that, to me, offensively or defensive-wise, I mean, they had Aaron Donald in a chokehold, and it looked that way. It just looked like he was non-existent. And by the time they got to the fourth quarter, the defense looked like they were over it. Like they had no answers for that offense. They had no answers, so they just was – I've only seen one team in the NFL do that. I've only seen one other defensive, so-called badass defense that could shut you down at any time when the San Diego Chargers with Junior Seau and Rodney Thomas, they go out and play the greatest show on turf, which is the St. Louis Rams at the time, and they quit. I mean, Junior Seau was done by the time the fourth quarter got started because he had hamstring issues. Rodney Thomas did the same thing. He was done. So to me, I think that team that we saw with the Rams were a night and day team. And to me, it showed me that they were fearful of the Arizona Cardinals and what Kyler could do out of the pocket, how they was afraid. Sometimes they blitzed, sometimes they rushed. And there's so many things we can dive into, but they just did not look like the team we had saw versus the Buccaneers. Not at all.
No, and I think to your point, you can't prepare for Kyler Murray when you face three pocket quarterbacks to begin the season.
True.
And I think that was evident yesterday. Multiple scrambles on third and long. Those were back-breaking plays. I know he didn't have the robust rushing line that we've seen from him in years prior, but he did just enough on the ground to keep them honest. The running game, Justin Pugh, I give a lot of credit to, was on the injury report all last week and played the entire game, banged up, neutralized Aaron Donald. To your point, the offensive line, I think even with Josh Jones transitioning to tackle for a game, held up incredibly well, all things considered. So it was a gut check performance for a team that needed a signature victory and got it Sunday.
All right, let's hear what the team had to say after the big win as well.
I don't take none of this for granted just because I was on a 3-13 team that was the worst in the NFL, so I remember like it was yesterday. Me and Kirk always talk about it. So it's just different where you really had to grind for this and to finally be on a successful team. And, there's no selfishness in that locker room. We got so many weapons, so many guys that can get it done on any given play, any given moment. So I think that's a great thing to have as an offense and as a team.
So we put together probably the best game plan that I think, personally, that we've had since I've been in the league.
You get bragging rights now over Sean?
No, I mean, he's still beat me a lot more than I beat him. And he's a tremendous coach, one of the best coaches I've ever seen or been around, and he'll have that team ready to roll.
I'm not really too worried about what other people think. I think the guys in the locker room understand what we're doing, what we're capable of, and where we can take it. So,
I love this team. Everybody's working really hard and playing for each other, which is the most important part.
Will you allow yourself to enjoy this when you're away from us?
Not so much. I'll watch Ted Lasso tonight and go to bed. That's about it.
You learned anything from Sean?
I learned anything from Ted? There's some real parallels between Ted Lasso and myself. Like the epic YouTube dance video. Y'all were at my press conference. It was essentially the same press conference as Ted Lasso had. And everybody's like, is this some kind of a joke? And then he's weirdly positive all the time. So we'll take it. But, yeah, I like the show.
This is really a big game for us, just in the locker room, really taking the next step. And we finally got over that little hump. Now we got to really just take off and really keep going with the strides.
Where do we begin? First off, do either of you guys watch Ted Lasso? I don't. I wish I did.
No. It's on that ridiculous Apple streaming service that apparently a lot of people have. I have like every
You
streaming
can get
service.
like a free trial right now for a few months. I just did it today because I felt like, all right,
Missing out.
Yeah, every time I'm always like one of the last people to join the bandwagon. Normally it's like after the whole show is like done. Like, oh, it's the
Years
last
later,
season.
yeah.
And I like finally am like, when it's all done and said and done, then I'll watch it. But I think I'm gonna just like hop on now.
Frank's shaking his
I
head.
have no idea who is Ted.
Jason Sudeikis from Saturday Night Live plays Ted
Yeah.
Lasso.
I'll look, watch this.
Soccer. I think that's part
it's
of
like
the
a
reason.
it's like a football coach that gets like a big time like soccer coaching job or something. I'm probably butchering it. I don't even want to go any further. I'm just gonna stop now. But
I'll be in tune next week. And I might have my Ted Lasso moment too, so we'll figure it out. You just never know.
Anyway, I also loved how Cliff, he's funny.
He
dang
is.
it!
He's
like
very
he's
funny.
making fun of himself. So like the only thing I do know is like Ted Lasso did not know what the heck he did. It was like, wait a second, this like college football coach is coaching soccer now.
Mhm.
So he compared himself to getting the job
With the
for everyone
Cardinals.
with that. Yeah, like what's this guy doing? That's funny.
That is funny. I mean, you have to. I appreciate that he's able to see himself and understand exactly who he was when he came in the league, and then to watch himself grow, which is what we have been asking for him to do over the last couple of years, is to grow and grow in the NFL, not still be the college coach in the NFL, but to grow in the NFL. And he's done that. He's doing that now. I'm sure he's going to say, I got enough L's on my chest, like he just said. I got more losses than I got victories over Sean. And until he gets to that point, it will still always be that same conversation that I'm still chasing him. I'm still trying to get to that level where I can get to the Super Bowl. I can take a team from nothing to something, and then I can have that conversation. But until he does that, he's still going to be in that same.
Well, some high praise from Kyler Murray saying that it was the best game plan that he's been a part of.
We talked about that off air. That's what stood out to me. When you have to game plan against that head coach and Sean McVay, you have to bring your best. And I think for so long, even before Cliff arrived, we just felt like we were up against the 8 ball as a franchise, being out-coached against the Rams. And for the first time in 4 years since he's been their head coach, in 8 meetings, they out-coached the Rams staff. And that was evident. It was not, barn burner down to the finish, last possession. Kyler took over as an athlete. That game was largely decided like third quarter. It was pretty evident the Cardinals were going to win. They controlled the tempo second quarter on. And I thought Cliff had, by and large, his best game ever as the Cardinal head coach. Picked a hell of a time to do it.
A lot of the guys, were complimenting the team chemistry, the chemistry in the locker room. Frank, from the way that you're seeing, the players talk about the culture and talk about one another, does this feel like, just by going off of that they have the type of chemistry that it takes to be a championship team?
I got my fingers crossed that no one gets hurt. The where they're playing right now and the conversations they're having is that I hope no one gets hurt and that they're playing selfless. You can take 53 men to any venue and let them go out and play. You need a game plan that puts you in the best position to attack the other team, offensively, defensively, as well as special team. And then you need to play selfless ball for 4 quarters, consistently giving your best. And you don't need to have anyone to motivate you, like that locker room talk kind of stuff. He said a quote that he's going to come out and kick our butt, but I put it on my locker room. And look, everyone wants to kick your butt. They pay me to kick your butt. That's what they do. So, and they pay me to out-coach you. And then, but if I got the guys that are our game plan set to go out and go and do it, and then they're committed to doing it, then you appreciate that. Look, go back and watch the game. Watch J.J. Watt, Mr. NFL Man of the Year, a great addition to the Cardinals. Thinking he would come out and probably get maybe 15 sacks with CJ on the other side. That's how I would be thinking from him. He's sitting in a nose tackle position in a 3-4 defense, which he's never done before, and he's taking on 2 and 3 guys at his age right now. That is sacrifice. That is freeing up Chandler. That's freeing up some of the other guys on our defense to do what he needs to do. And that's we're missing our interior lineman, but he's sacrificing himself, sliding in these spots. And when guys see leaders sacrifice, then you can talk about chemistry and then the guys will sacrifice themselves, and that will create the atmosphere of what it takes to be a champion. You got to have that.
I think most of us thought before the year they were a top 10 to 12 roster, and the biggest question marks surrounding could they compete was around Kingsbury and maybe like the inexperience that a large majority of this roster had achieving success that led to the postseason. I think we can firmly say now that they view themselves differently than the public did coming into this season. My only concern is, do they have enough experience if and when they go to January football to string together 2 or 3 victories to get to an NFC title game, a Super Bowl? Russell Wilson, before he went to the Super Bowl and won it, they had a lengthy postseason run the year before. So that's why I think so many people were disappointed last year that the Cardinals didn't sneak into the playoffs to at least get their feet wet. What I will say is that you've got Rodney Hudson, A.J. Green, J.J. Watt. They've all been to the playoffs before, DeAndre Hopkins. So really it's just Kyler and Cliff that you're thinking, do they have enough when they get to January football? If they don't have a first-round bye, and we're getting way ahead of ourselves here, but can they win 2 or 3 games and string together a really good postseason performance? Because if they can do that, and if they do it all year, then we're having a completely different conversation. But right now, 4-0, they're about to be the Oakland or the Las Vegas Raiders are about to lose. They're down 21-0 to the LA Chargers. The Cardinals are going to be the last undefeated team in the NFL. I don't think any of us, as optimistic as we were to begin the season, thought that.
Very interesting. Well, when we talk about Cliff and the strides that he's made this season, I don't know that we'll ever fully know the impact that Sean Kugler's new role has had on just allowing Kingsbury to lean on somebody else. But I mean, here's a guy, who took on the role of run game coordinator this year. And not only does he help come up with a game plan heading into Sunday, but Cliff calls on him for run plays mid-game. And so I wonder about that dynamic and Cliff just having somebody else there to lean on and how much that has also helped.
Yeah, I think absolutely, because we knew going into Sunday they had to run the football if they wanted to win that game. Not just because they had to prove it to themselves or you can only run on the Rams, which you can, but just to keep the offense balanced. And we saw in the latter half of last season when they fell apart, they didn't have a different dimension with their offense. It was backyard football with Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins. This year they have more elements in the passing game, but they can be physical too. They've got Rodney Hudson in large part to solidify the line of scrimmage on the offensive line, in part because of what he can do from a protection standpoint, but they were moving people up front yesterday, and that's a direct correlation to Sean Kugler. In my opinion, he's their best position coach they've had maybe since they've ever moved to Arizona. He came, and this offensive line was a sieve in 2018. I think he gave up like 60-plus sacks on Josh Rosen, and since he's arrived with not a lot of talent to begin with, and they've added some key pieces, obviously, it's a top 5 to 7 unit in the NFL. And I think you can always tell the greatness of a coach, not necessarily with his starters, but if he has to plug and play a Max Garcia for whatever reason, a Justin Murray, and typically you don't miss a beat, especially in this division, that speaks to his ability to coach players up. And that's what you want. So he's an invaluable resource, somebody that they need to keep happy and compensated, well compensated in Arizona, because they can't afford to lose him. Kingsbury can't.
You're a college coach. You teach and train zone reads and zone blocking. That's area and space blocking. When you're in the NFL, you need to specifically know who you're attacking, what you're attacking, how much am I supposed to help somebody, and how does the line communicate? Our center, with his intelligence and his brilliance, is getting these guys to communicate and talk. I always say this here. Turn your volume up when you're watching a football game, NFL football game, and listen to the line. They talk more than anybody else on the field. They are calling who's the Mike, who's the Sam, who's the Will, who are blitzing. If I'm engaging with you, am I fan blocking? These are colors like orange, red, yellow, green. These are telling everybody on the line what to do. And it's so imperative if you have a coach that is able to garnish the guys' attention, make them smarter and intelligent, to not just think about one position and having that deer in the headlight stance because some great defensive end or nose tackle is on the other side. You don't worry about that. You just find yourself being able to do your job and do it effectively. And he's there now. He's making all the difference, because now Cliff is not just doing zone blocking stuff. He's actually doing the real hard work, which is getting the guys, the grunt guys, to know their job and to do it well.
Right.
And
it's not smoke and mirrors.
Right. No, it's not. It's not flash. It's not. You can literally tell that. To hold Aaron Donald to nothing is absolutely amazing. Like, you just, it's stupid, because the dude is a beast. And you could watch him in the fourth quarter not really bring the dog like he was bringing it. He just kind of gave up because he knew it was 2 and 3 guys on me, and he was going to bring.
Well, he had that
to
play where Kyler made a miss in the pocket and he ran for a first down.
He's like,
that's defeating. That's deflating for a team that typically dominates the line of scrimmage every game they're in, and they probably look at the Cardinals as fourth place in the division. I don't know how seriously they took this team, but I guarantee they take them much more serious when they come to Arizona later this year.
It's definitely going to be a fight. I would love to. I did not do this. I should have. Dang it. I should have listened to their team's press conference, because they will be more telling than probably what we're getting. We see it. We get the victory. But then you might hear them say, yeah, we really, we worked out some things in practice, or probably we worked on some things and it didn't really work out. Why? Well, we kind of changed the game plan around a little bit. Why? Like, you'll hear them say certain things. So I'll go back and check out their interview to see what they did. And I think that's something always good to check out, because your opponent sometimes are just telling themselves, and they'll be like, man, we just wasn't ready for that. We were not ready for what they brought to the table. And it showed.
Well, Frank, you seem to talk more highly of what the defensive front, the defensive line was able to do than Johnny was on Sunday. So
you didn't talk good about our D-line?
No.
Are you kidding me?
No, and I put it in my article on
me?
GoPHNX.com about my disappointment for a unit that has 1 sack on the year, and that's from reserve defensive tackle Michael Dogby. J.J. Watt, his PFF score was much better than I thought today, so it speaks to Frank's point. He's doing all the dirty work on the
Johnny,
inside.
wait a second. Why didn't you say that to Frank? Why did I have to say, Frank, Johnny disagrees with you?
I do.
Why did I have to say that?
That's a position unit right now that's under a microscope. You saw the run defense, or the lack thereof, yesterday. They were getting swamped. There were huge gaping holes on the defensive line for the third consecutive week, if you count Jacksonville. They do not have a 5 technique or a 3 technique penetrating defensive tackle.
Not yet.
And I think that is the biggest concern right now with this team. If we talk about, could they make a postseason run or a Super Bowl run, you have to have a defensive lineman that's that guy, whether it's a DeForest Buckner or an Aaron Donald or a Carlos Dunlap in Seattle, and they can go out and get one, but they don't have anybody in-house right now.
Well, if you're wondering about Jordan Phillips.
I wasn't.
You wonder, but it's like, I already know he won't be here next year.
Yeah, so Cliff Kingsbury said that he remains week to week, but has made progress.
With what? They didn't even put anything out there.
No, yeah.
You know what? I think that's because the conversations that teams are running on us. And I think that watching the game plan of the last couple of weeks, look, we faced between the Minnesota Vikings, and again, you didn't expect that with the Tennessee Titans, so let's do a quick review. We didn't expect that with the Tennessee Titans. We thought they had 3 great receivers, and then we knew they had Derrick Henry. We knew they had Tannehill as a top quarterback. Then we thought, okay, maybe those 3 great receivers versus our young DBs might get exploited, and then we got to figure a way to stop the running game. Well, Chandler Jones showed up and crapped on our whole game plan they had, so that was a wrap. Then we go to Minnesota. We see Minnesota here. They come here. Dalvin Cook, the Vikings, he's running the ball. He's catching them all at the backfield. I say Dalvin Cook is right?
Yeah.
Okay, I might have had a brain fart. So, but you see that, and you know their offense got the opportunity to make some plays. They took us down to the wire. Thank God their kicker sucked. Hello. We just moved past that guy. But then we go to Jacksonville. We thought it was a trap game, but we knew they had players that can play. Defensively, they ran the ball against us very well. Defensively, schematically, Vance Joseph is moving guys around, and he's putting them.
I don't think he's doing a bad job by any means.
I mean, but they can give up the running game, but the league right now is a passing league. Right. So you got to manage what you can manage. Giving up 75 yards, 125 yards a running game is nothing. But to give it the big play after the big play after the big play, like if you flip it how the Rams look like to us, you'll be a deer in the headlight because you don't know you don't know what to protect. You don't know who to hold. You know, what linemen to do, what defense to run. And I think that is something that we're willing to give up the run right now because we don't have the fillers. We don't have our interior line to be very well. We got, please don't let me screw his name, Gardeck.
Dennis Gardeck.
Yeah.
Dennis Gardeck, he's about my size playing defensive end and nose tackle. He's not a real big guy. I mean, they got him on the line.
Isn't it funny?
But he's not that guy. He's not like Chandler or JJ size-wise. He looks like me, which
the defensive tackles for this team are not good enough right now.
Thank you.
And I love Corey Peters. He was signed in late August. He wasn't expected to be a part of this team. Jordan Phillips is making 8 figures, and he's nowhere to be found, right?
Not yet.
They're paying Devon Kennard big money. He's a non-factor. It's funny that the secondary was this cause for concern the entire offseason. It's like top 5 in the NFL. And they were unbelievable yesterday. Jalen Phillips, I thought Marco Wilson played well outside of the first quarter. Byron Murphy's going to go to a Pro Bowl. And then the defensive line is just like, it's got the names, right? It's got J.J. Watt. Chandler Jones, again, sackless in this game. You know, it's.
But Chandler got chipped. He got chip blocked probably 80% of the game.
They must have done something right because Stafford was erratic.
Yes.
But on television, when we watched it, it did not look like they were getting pressure. But they must have finished, and we just didn't see it.
They got to that's the part what I hate about like when you're watching regular
broadcast,
football games. The broadcast. So what happens is they'll show you they'll show you the panoramic view of the field. You'll see your offense and defense, and you'll see guys, and you say, "Oh, that's a cover 2, that's a 1. Oh, we got 3-by-1 or 4-by-1 set." And then right when they hike the ball, it zooms in on the quarterback, and you lose what's going on.
Right.
Then when they throw the ball, the quarterback is like, you know, unless it's a true sack, you really don't see it. But when they throw the ball, then they follow the ball. So you just miss that window of really seeing how much work is being put on. Like Chandler got chipped probably, I said again, probably 80% of the time. The tight end stayed on his side, or they had a running back or a guy motioned to his side to kind of chip block him in because they were fearful of him. And if you look at what they did to JJ, it was almost double team most of the time. It was what we would call as a pass set. You set on one guy and then you reach to the other guy, or you slant block, you block down and you touch him and then you look for the linebacker. But you're trying to push him over to the right guard so you can go focus on the linebacker. Where our defense did not present a real linebacker. We were focused on the passing game. And if you look at what we were doing up front, we had TE stunts, which is tackle end stunts, where guys were crossing over and twisting just to get in front of Stafford's face. That has been his problem all his career. It's not guys just rushing up. He sees the lanes. It's the guys that's doing when they're stunning and twisting in front of him.
Well, you can do that against the Rams.
You can
with their prolific receivers. They better get their run defense figured out before this weekend. I have major concerns about how they're going to stop San Francisco and that zone blocking scheme. They're going to have a rookie quarterback, and it's going to be smoke and mirrors and gimmicks and quarterback dive, and it's going to look like an Army offense. And they better be prepared for it because we saw last year in Week 16 in Arizona.
You're talking about the 49ers?
Yeah.
And the rookie quarterback?
He's going to start for them. He can't. He's too inaccurate. He's not ready, but Garoppolo's got a hamstring. I guarantee you they're going to come out, and it's going to be like this college offense where they're going to try to run the ball.
For sure, Garoppolo's
it sounds like it's out. Yeah,
he's out. I'm not worried about them. I mean, I do, but I'm not.
They came to Arizona with C.J. Beathard last year and knocked the Cardinals out of the playoffs with Jeff Wilson going for $180. This is a game where it's like, this is why you pay J.J. Watt. Like they're a 5.5-point favorite and need to take care of business this weekend.
They do, I agree. I mean, they have to prove that they have the ability to continually go week in and week out leadership-wise. Here's what will be the conversation. And we can think this over the week, is that we just beat a mighty team that had us basically in their pocket, right? We didn't have any rabbit's foot versus the Rams, not at all. We had no good luck charm. We had no pieces that we could have won that game with over the last previously 8 games. We went in there and we beat them. Our quarterback said that was the greatest game plan he had. So we're going to say, let's chunk that the Cliff got better. And we're going to talk about Kugler, how he brought something to the table, right? Then we can talk about Vance, how you shut down a great offense just by not necessarily stopping the run, but stopping the pass,
like the bend,
being
but don't
as
break
effective.
approach.
Right.
Yep.
And that in itself, you waited for the play, waited for the opportunity to make the plays. You did that. So now going into this next week, all I'm asking for is the leaders just to be leaders and to continually put their foot on the pedal of not worrying about that the bullseye is on them right now, but that they can continually go out with a good game plan and match anyone on any venue at any place in the country. We're going to find out. And that will be the conversation to have this week.
Dear God, with that loss, I know it was last year, but with that loss at the end of the season,
were you there at that game last year?
No, I wasn't there. I was anchoring, so I was in. Was that a Saturday game?
Yeah,
I was
like
anchoring.
an Amazon Prime game.
Yes, yep. So I was in studio. Oh my God!
It was I totally agree.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
No, I mean they better not lose this one because of what happened. That was unforgivable.
The Niners were living in Arizona because everything going on in California.
I'm sorry.
I just had a flashback. Johnny brought up bad memories.
I literally saw all the emotions and expressions you just had. You literally, your presence just went. You sunk in last year's loss so beautifully pictured right then. And
I haven't let it go.
You shouldn't, and the Cardinals shouldn't. They got their butts whipped, and they need to figure it out. And look, the player said it absolutely perfect. He'd been on a 3-13 team. Once you've been on a 3-13 team, you know why you suck. You know why you're losing. But when you're winning, you have a chance to really see why you're winning and enjoy the win and know that, this ain't a fluke win, man. We dominated this team. We went out and did this. They put together a game plan, and we executed that game plan. Our coach wasn't afraid to call the plays. Kyler was absolutely fabulous. It wasn't a 300, 400-yard performance. It didn't even require that because we were dominant on both sides of the ball. So that's what we're hoping for, that the team is growing and that the guys are finding themselves in their roles and selflessly doing them. Max, tight end might catch 5 balls. He might catch 2. But the 2 would be so important. And then when they can't stop the tight end, they got to be on the outside looking and worried about our running backs. And look, Chase Edmonds was absolutely fabulous. The week before, he didn't barely touch the ball versus Jacksonville, didn't he? And then he comes in the Rams game, and he's running the ball, catching the ball. He's all over the field. He's explosive. He's elusive. That's coaching and putting your player in the right place at the right time to create mixed matches. And once you're doing it, you have no answers for those things. So I expect us versus San Francisco 49ers to be ready, to have a solid game plan. It's another home game. Hopefully these guys don't get caught up in the conversation, which I always talk about, is that you're home. This is week 4, week 5. The NFL checks are looking good. Family wants to be out here. Everyone's asking for tickets, blah, 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 blah. Then you show up and you don't know how to play football no more.
Frank, you bring up people asking for tickets all the time. Is that something that
it happens all the time? It happens all. Look,
it's like us asking to go golfing with you.
I haven't played in a long time, so I know I still get asked for tickets. I haven't even played. I get asked for tickets, and it's okay. But it's your family comes out and they want to support and they want to be here. They want the NFL experience. But it becomes distractive because you know how it is right now. You got passes to certain things and media credentials to go to certain stuff, and then somebody, hey, can you give me a ticket? And you're like, no, I'm working. I will not be watching what you're watching. I'm working. So
we're here to work.
Yeah,
that's what we're doing.
We're working right now.
Can't you tell? Jeez. All right, so we mentioned it after the game. We didn't even have to look at the DraftKings Sportsbook app to know that Kyler's odds of winning MVP would go up. Right now, he is plus 450 on the DraftKings Sportsbook app to win league MVP. Patrick Mahomes plus 650, Josh Allen plus 700. And then it goes to Justin Herbert plus 750 and on from there. So Kyler Murray.
Did a little research before the show. Anybody want to take a guess what his odds were before the season?
That was going to be my question.
Plus 2,000.
Plus 3,000.
Plus 3,000.
That was good for about like 7th or 8th in the NFL.
Really?
Not, the worst, but not enough to be taken seriously.
That's where, nobody's at. The closest to that would be Lamar Jackson plus 2,500.
Yeah, that's not terrible odds.
No, it's not terrible odds at all. The quarterbacks that are playing right now between Mahomes and Jackson, they still are struggling. That entire team looks like they're all still struggling from last year's defeats. They look like they're soaking in. We could have been champs. We got so close. We didn't get there. We didn't win. What can I do more? It looks like they're doing too much. It doesn't look like they're solid. If Tom Brady loses, he comes back and he's definitely the same professional. He's accurate. He's on point. He's argumentative about certain things. He's making his team better every year. He's being a professional at all levels. And he just moved to the next season. These guys are still struggling. So I think that their season will get better as it goes on. Once they start realizing that I'm actually playing football and I'm losing, and we're losing because of me. And I need to get back to the basics and start figuring some stuff out. Most teams who lose a Super Bowl or lose in the AFC or NFC Championship, they struggle so much the next year, the next couple of weeks when they come back.
Well, if you want to get in on betting on who you think is going to win league MVP, or anything that has to do with this week's upcoming games, same game parlays, which always allow you to win more. Get on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the code PHNX when you sign up. Bet $1 on any football game. You're going to get $150 in free bets instantly. But as always, 21 and over, Arizona only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit and $1 wager required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And I want to let you guys know that, hey, big weekend for Arizona sports teams. If you are a fan of Arizona who did not play, which means they got a W, or
According
ASU,
to our GM Saul.
or ASU who did play and got a fantastic win. If you buy one of our college t-shirts, you get half off any other shirt. So that would include our awesome Cardinal shirts that we have on PHNXLocker.com. That's for our members only, but you don't have to be a member to buy a shirt. So just go on PHNXLocker.com to sign up. But members, they always get the best of what we have, always get our deals, access to Johnny's awesome articles, as all the articles on all the other sports teams here in the Valley. All right, Leah, you still have some comments that you want to read out loud?
Yes. Speaking of looking good, people are hyping up Johnny in
his hot pants.
Johnny, you look good tonight. That's from Shane. And then I wish I could look that good in red pants.
Well, you know what? I'd like to take credit for it, but my wife's out of town. I'm out of clean clothes, so that's what's happening.
That's actually
100% what's
actually what's going on right now.
I'll stand up. These are my red pants.
Wow, Johnny.
Extra tight.
Yeah, Saturday Night Live look right there, brother. Heck
Victory
yeah.
Monday. So we sport some red pants.
There we go.
Somebody please tell his wife to rush out. No,
Yes,
I'm kidding.
please. I can do laundry. It's not like I can't do laundry.
You're just choosing not to.
That's right.
Okay. All right. Let's play a little game of pass or run, guys. So, are we going to pass on the statement? Or are we going to run with it? So first up, the Cardinals will pick up an enormous amount of bandwagon fans this year.
Oh, definitely run. I mean, I think the Suns were evident. A lot of people got on that bandwagon. Rightfully so. The Suns were fantastic. But I think a lot of people were a little skeptical on Cliff. There were people even skeptical on Kyler Murray. I think, yeah, absolutely run. Do not sell your tickets this weekend. Please, God, do not give them to Niner fans. Pack State Farm Stadium. I don't care. You can be a bandwagon fan. Just don't sell your tickets.
I swear there was, dang, I wish I remembered who it was. I swear there was a player that tweeted out after.
No, it was Brenson Buckner, is the defensive line coach.
Oh, the defensive line coach, Brenson Buckner.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly who it was. He tweeted out, "Please do not give your tickets to any Niners, sell your tickets to any Niners fans."
It's bad when a coach has to say that. Come on, let's go.
Okay. I am going to pass on that.
What?
Yeah, I'm going to pass on it. I don't think they believe the magic. I don't think those who are going to be bandwagoners right now saying, "Yeah, I like the Cardinals, but." I think they're on that still. I think they're on that butt bandwagon right now. I think they're on that butt train that says, but everything you got to talk about the Cardinals, but if they didn't have, but just wait, wagoners. I think those are the people that are sitting, waiting for us to fail, waiting to watch this thing implode, watching Kyler run.
What? I thought you were an optimist. Now,
I'm talking about, I'm talking about the fans. Those that will jump on
you're scorned by all the fans of the 90s.
Me, bro.
That's what's happening.
I've got a couple of reasons.
You see where I'm at with it? You see where I'm at? All right,
I mean, I get it, but if they continue to win and it's like mid or deep into the season and they're like still like the hottest team.
That's how you build a fandom,
like,
is with victories.
Yeah.
I agree, but they're still waiting. Week
4 they are, but what about week 11?
9, 11.
I just threw a number out
I'm
there.
gonna pass on that one because
Frank is just bitter.
Okay, I'm running with it because there's a few things here. Not only is this team exciting to watch, and maybe there are 1,000 bandwagon fans right now in week 4, but I think that if this team continues to play the way that they are, they're exciting enough to want to root for. The other thing is they have players like J.J. Watt and DeAndre Hopkins that come from different fan bases of maybe, crappy teams. You've got A.J. Green that comes from somewhere else. And I feel like those are guys that just bring fans with them. So I feel like you also have some guys like big names on the team that if all of a sudden they're on a team that's playing well, you're going to get those fans. And then the last reason why I think so, and I always go back to this, I just feel like this team's really likable. I really like that Kyler is starting to open up. I love that Cliff is starting to open up. We're starting to see personalities. I mean, I feel like, and I keep going back to the Suns just because it just happened, and they just made the finals.
It's definitely relevant.
There was something so when they were having success, that team was so fun to talk to, and you got this glimpse into all these different personalities, and they were joking and they were having fun, and it made the team so likable. And I feel like the Cardinals, what, Frank?
I'm listening. I'm listening.
He's raising his hand.
Yeah, you want to talk?
No, I'm away. I'm with you. Go right. Everything you're saying is absolutely right.
I just feel the more likable your personalities are on the team, the more that people are just going to want to cheer for them. And so I feel like the Cardinals have some of that Suns team in them.
They do. They really do. But you was here when the Suns were losing and sucking.
Right.
That's all it takes is an L.
Well, they're not losing right now.
I'm just
backtrack.
But so that's the part of the conversation.
Yeah.
Will you run with us or will you not? Will you pass on us? And I think there will be fair weather. However, I will still say they're waiting for this thing to crash because of everything y'all said that is right. It goes back to, but what if? But what happens if?
You'd be hard-pressed to find a better watch right now in the NFL than the Cardinals. Just if you turn on a game, I think they're the best watch in the league right now.
As long as they don't pull a 2020.
To us, they are. To those that are here.
I listen. I try to be in tune with the national public and the media.
Okay, that's the other thing. You get the national media on, and then all of a sudden you get the eyes of the nation, and your favorite national sportscaster is talking about Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals.
I think we can. In order for this thing to become as darling as you guys are talking about it, I need Cliff to wear more flashy suits.
Did you see his button-up button?
I mean, he did this time. He did.
He dropped a Ted Lasso reference. Ted Lasso's like the hottest TV show in the country right now.
You'd have to go shirtless at this point for him to be more outlandish than he has been.
He could do that.
He had the Saturday Night Fever suit last week.
He said he has to go shirtless.
He looked like Tony Montana yesterday.
He looks,
Cliff is not the problem now.
No, he's not.
He's pushing all the right buttons on and off the field.
The conversation is, would I run or pass on where we are with the Fairweather fans? I do, and I will say, I agree with y'all are saying I do. I just know when you're winning, it's easy to have conversations. It's easy to see me. It's easy to talk and be open and have that. And just be vulnerable. And when you're winning, because you're not going to ask me about my L's or when I got beat up or when I dropped the ball. You're not asking a receiver that had 7 catches for 125 yards, why did he drop that ball in the first quarter? Why'd you have 3 drops in the first quarter? What's going on? I just had 7 catches for 124 yards and 3 touchdowns. What are you talking about? I don't even remember that. You talking? Well, you get out. We're winning. This is a winner's locker room. We talk about winning, and that's harder to do when you start losing. And I'm not saying we will. Trust me, I'm not. I'm just saying the fans that are here and media national wise is still not in love with us. The storylines about this is a great storyline, but it's not the love-hate storyline you want. There's a love-hate storyline that's out there. You want to see Jerry Jones fail because he's the Cowboys? Yes. You want to see Aaron Rodgers suck eggs because he held the team hostage? Yes. You want to see Tom Brady do something crazy that he never done before?
You want to hate the Cardinals?
I don't want to hate the Cardinals. I love the Cardinals.
They have to have something to hate.
They don't have that storyline that is as catchy. Like you guys said, they got to do certain things in order to make this team be more darling. Okay. We have a lot of good pieces. We do. I'm just saying, and I could be wrong. Y'all could check me. And I'm okay with being checked 100%.
I know better than to make a bet, so. By the way, your chicken wings are getting cold, so I'll give them to you in a second here.
Thank you very much.
Okay, all right, next one. Kyler Murray will win league MVP.
I will go pass just because the league MVP typically goes to the team with the best record. In this division, it's going to be hard for the Cardinals to win 14 or 15 games. It just is. I think Aaron Rodgers in the putrid NFC North, you can stack up victories against the Lions and the Bears of the world. The Cardinals have one of the most difficult schedules the rest of the year. Of course, I'm rooting for it to happen. I'll say he finishes in the top 3, but to win it outright, you have to be the number 1 seed typically, or you have to have a record-breaking season, which he's on pace to do. He's on pace for 51 touchdowns and like 5,800 total yards. So I don't know if that's sustainable, but I will go top 3, but not win it outright.
I'm going to pass only because I feel like if I run with it, I just feel like I'm getting like too
wrapped up in it.
Yeah, too wrapped up in it, too excited about everything that's good. It's like week 4.
Go ahead, it's week 4. Go ahead.
It's week 4, and I'm just not gonna do it on week 4.
I am so baffled by how you would run with the bandwagoners, but you won't keep running to the MVP stand. I don't understand how y'all do that.
We got 13 more weeks to go.
I don't give a rat's. I'm saying if you're gonna run with them, then you don't think the Magic can stand for the next 13 weeks.
There's a big difference between you're gonna win, you're gonna get to the playoffs to win league MVP, which again comes with the best team in the conference.
Kyler right now is by far, if he stays healthy, by far, without a doubt, the
he
most
has not
impressive.
Finished, he's the last 2 seasons healthy, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Hey, bro, that's why we work. We got new game plans. He don't have to do it all. He doesn't have to do everything like we had him have to do before. He's in a different position right now. He's smarter. He's not even trying to take hits. He's, if he gets sacked, he's falling down immediately. They even if they look like they're getting ready to touch him. I'm going to run with him winning the MVP because unlike my bandwagoners right here.
We literally cover the team and root for the team.
Excuse us.
I'm playing. I'm running with it. I'm not going to dive into it that much more. He looks great. He looks absolutely like he's on pace to do everything he's supposed to do. And this is our former Heisman Trophy first-round draft pick guy. He's got that dog and that moxie in him where he can get through a full season to get to the podium. And he looks like that's his goal. And I'm not saying that. I just feel like that would be a good spot for him. And it's a good time. This is a great time for this team to do everything they need to do this year because there's no promises of next year and what this team will look like.
Well, since you were just talking up Kyler Murray, let's move on to this one. Run or pass? Frank will profess his love to Cliff Kingsbury this year.
I'm going to run.
I don't know if I can answer that.
No, I'm going to run with it.
Frank, tell me about the picture that you sent me.
So right today, you can see it. You see, Kay? You see that right there?
What?
What does that say? Can you see what that says?
That's unbelievable.
You see what that says? That is a pregame warm-up tattoo right that says K2. I told you, I said if Cliff keeps doing what he's doing, I'll get a tattoo on my inside part of my Achilles.
Is that for real?
That's K2.
He sent me a photo of like his leg up and somebody drawing out like different K2s.
Yep.
I didn't know you were gonna come with it like
right here.
on you.
I don't play these games. I'm for real. I'm with
between Saul's feet last night and Frank's ankles.
I got a K2 that's pregame warmed up. Mark it on my. I'll post
tweet
it.
the photo out.
Matter of fact, I'll tweet it right now. I'll post it out there. But it's literally on my ankle. And I'm saying, I'm serious. Like, there is some things to be rewarded and respected. And we just talked about how we watched our coach graduate and grow. You got many people have Cardinal birds. They have the City of Phoenix. They have the Suns logos. But this is just, we're doing pregame conversation right now. And I'm doing some prep work to see if it looks good. Did I catch y'all off guard? Are you liking it? Is that okay? Is that not okay? Can you send me a picture
it's
of
very
a K2
okay with
logo?
me.
And then we'll go from there.
If they win, I don't have any tattoos.
Yeah.
If they win the Super Bowl, I would get a tattoo. 100%. If they win a Super Bowl.
I'm posting it right now.
100%. So I'm with you.
Well, I since Frank showed up with that on his ankle, I mean, I got to run with this. Like, for sure, I think it's happening.
Yeah,
so
I can't even.
I'm running with it.
Can't dispute it.
All right.
Boom.
While you tweet that out, Frank, Johnny and I will hold down the discussion here. Pass or run, the Cardinals will sweep the Rams this year.
Ooh, that's a good one. I will say, man, if that came to pass, then you would gotta believe they're the division favorite to win outright. I will pass. It's hard to do. It's hard to sweep any team. and you're talking about a team that views you as, a basement dweller for so long, a team that has aspirations to be the number 1 seed, I think it'll be a good game. I don't think that they were.
I like that analogy.
I don't think that they were quite prepared for what Arizona was going to do. So I do think they'll be up more when they come here. So I will pass. But again, we talked about it like multiple weeks in a row. Cardinals just need to go 500 in the division, and they'll be fine because they're taking care of business outside the division. So again, got to beat Seattle, got to beat San Francisco. It'd be great if they swept the Rams. I just don't see it happening.
I think it's really, really hard to do, especially with a team like LA. They're so well coached.
Yeah.
Not that I'm saying there's no way it could happen.
It absolutely could happen.
But I'll pass on that right now. Again, that's just a really tall task. Frank, can you join in?
What was the question again?
Pass or run? Cardinals will sweep the Rams.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, they'll sweep the Rams because the Rams don't have answers for unless we come into battle with injuries that will limit us the quality of players we have right now. Then I would say yes, but I would say it's a good chance that I would say no. Let me back that up. But if we go back they come here and we have the pieces we have in place right now, and the game plan we was able to establish. Of course, this is a fluid situation because the season's always changing. Defensive, something might happen on their defense either way. But yeah, I believe they're sweeping. I believe we have their number right now. And I think that the idea is that because the game plan and Kyler Murray understands he has no reason to be afraid of what they present on paper to somebody else. Because when they come to us, we have the weapons to defend anything you got going on. And it looked that way just this weekend. And I just believe I think they'll go back and look at the film, and although you might make changes, you still got to recognize if we have those horses on the outside, I got no problem with that.
All right, let's wrap it up with this one. Pass or run. Rodney Hudson is the most valuable addition to the team this year.
Yes, with a close second being Matt Prater. But Hudson solidified the offensive line. They traded a third-round pick for him. I tweeted it out. The pick that the Raiders used, pick 79th overall. Kid's been inactive all 4 games. Talks about how we overvalue draft picks. You acquire an all-pro center at the peak of his powers, prime of his career, and remedied what was the biggest weakness on the Cardinal offensive line. I mean, it's a big reason why they're 4-0. So I will go 1A, Rodney Hudson, with all due respect to A.J. Green, who's been much better than I thought, and 1B, Matt Prater's been freaking phenomenal.
Aside from his skills, his voice alone on the offensive line. I mean, after every game, we hear about Rodney Hudson and just how great of a leader and how much he helped in terms of, something he said or saw or, whatever the case is. So between just him as an all-around player, I just don't think that they'd be in this position. Now you can have a kicker that through 4 weeks has been nearly perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But Rodney Hudson, in my opinion, is just he's irreplaceable.
They had so much interior pressure last year that led to Kyler, I think, regressing in the second half of the season. It led to injuries. He remedies all of that, and he helps with the younger players, specifically on the right side of the offensive line, be set, be situated for different looks that they're seeing from the Rams of the world that have abused them in the past. That is, people call that an overpay at the time because there was rumors that the Raiders may or may not cut him, and then they scaled back. If you can remember, they missed out on the center from Green Bay, Corey Lindsey. They got overpaid by the Chargers, so they had to pivot. Like, they tried to give Corey Lindsey big-time guaranteed money, and the Chargers would just not stop. So Keim had to step back, and it was pretty deflating. And so they got in touch with the folks in Las Vegas, and they swung a deal for Hudson literally 24 hours later, and they got the better player.
I have been on teams where our offensive line was absolutely, I'm not going to say it was terrible. They were young. They were young and inexperienced in the NFL at the level of what it is because they came from systems that were zone blocking and more it wasn't as detailed as it has to be in the NFL to be able to attack your opponent the proper way. I spoke about it earlier. Having an offensive line men come in and that can be coached and also coaches his other compadres, it makes a difference. That offensive line unit has to be special. I was blessed to play with Lomas Brown, who we got from the Detroit Lions back in the day.
Tremendous.
We got him. We had him for like a year or two. He gelled our line in 1998, which is the first time we went to the playoffs because of him and the other guys that were there. Mike Devlin was our center. Lomas Brown was able to unify the guys. They did team camaraderie stuff. They had a lot of sessions where they were speaking and talking and hanging out and doing friendly family stuff. Our receiver room was not doing that, but they were doing it at a higher level than us. And it showed during that time of the year. And it took us a lot of games before they really began to gel, but it was that purpose. It made a difference. The following year, we let go Lomas. The next year in 99, you guys know what happened. And it transitioned our entire offense and what we're able to do and capable. And I think he is an absolute wonderful addition.
Before we move on to the next segment, Leah, any more comments that you wanted to share? All right. Want to remind you guys, if you have not signed up for the DraftKings Sportsbook app yet, use the code PHNX at $1 on any football game this week. You're going to get $150 in free bets instantly. So definitely take advantage of that. And then, Johnny, you had something you want to talk about too.
Yeah, that's a great deal. I'm into great deals. I'm also into keeping myself, as best manicured, emphasis on the man that I can be, using manscaped.com, promo code PHNX. You get 20% off site-wide, free shipping. They've got soaps. They've got gels, body wash. They've got the Lawnmower 4.0, which is fantastic. I am a full-blooded 5'6" Italian man. I get hair in my ears and in my nose and all over the place. And to keep this camera ready, I go to town with Manscaped. So manscaped.com, promo code PHNX, 20% off site-wide, free shipping, all good things.
All right, this leads us to what Frank has been waiting for all night long, the Lolos that's sitting at my feet here. So again, to recap, I wasn't not betting against Kyler. I just felt like Frank was getting a little too technical because you never know. A lot of things can go wrong. You never know if the defense is going to intercept your quarterback. So I just said, Frank, I'm just not confident in that. You seem so confident that I'll bet against you. And so if I had won, I was getting some Applebee's boneless wings. Frank was the one that won. He wanted Lolo's wings. Here you go, Frank.
Thank you so very much for this.
And I didn't know. First off, I thought, I do apologize if it's cold by now. I thought Lolo's was like a fast food place. So I walked in there thinking I was going to be just, I don't know.
Like a
yeah. Oh, yes, exactly. And Frank wanted, it was some hood something. What was it, Frank?
DNB hood.
DNB hood.
Oh, yeah.
6-piece wings with extra crispy
I
with the
Saul's
sauce on the
watching.
side. That's what he wanted.
Oh, yeah.
And
right.
some white bread.
Yeah, that's what it looks like right there.
Okay, but here's this, in my opinion.
Tell me, you're going to look at these and
sauce
say.
on the side, Frank?
Oh, yeah, because by the time I got them, they'd be too soggy. Because I knew you wouldn't give them to me.
That's a great clutch play.
I want to make sure the sauce on the side so I can take them back, put them in the oven.
That's a
and then
Pro
hit them
Bowl
across
play
the
right
head
there.
right there.
All right,
I'm
impressed,
That's a
actually.
connoisseur of wings. So
I'm impressed.
yeah, but you can't tell me that Applebee's is gonna smack that up. Have you had one of these?
No, honestly, it doesn't.
The bone throws you off. Or is it the bone
That doesn't do anything for me.
Oh
I'm
my
sure it's
God,
delicious.
that's
Did they
nice.
forget your white bread?
No, it's in there. It's on the bottom of it. Look.
At some point, Chierstin, we will get
my
Applebee's
God.
wings.
I'm sorry you're not here, Saul. I should save you 1, 2. You gonna try one?
Sure, I'll try one.
It can't hurt.
As long as I need to dip it in some sauce though.
Dip it
So
in some sauce.
Here, Johnny. Do you want one, Johnny?
Oh man,
Oh, I took the sauce and not the wing. That's how. I'm more concerned about the
they don't
sauce.
do drumsticks, huh? They just do wings.
They do wings, yeah. They do drumsticks if you want them, but
See,
so
I'm very skeptical of this.
of what?
This whole thing, the whole situation.
Just pull one off. Just
I don't
pull.
want to get in my
pull the leg.
pants.
Pull the leg off.
Pull the leg off
Just
the
pull-
wing.
Yeah, just pull the leg. Just
This is gonna be
There you
my
go,
my
There you go.
beer moment from last
There
week,
you go.
Chierstin.
boom. Just pull the wing up. Yeah.
And then you dip it and just eat it like this.
Crack it like that. Yeah. So the special sauce that they have from Lolo's is they call it like a Chicago style, where they mix. It's a hot sauce and like a ketchup version. Then they add some other things to it,
Ketchup.
and there you go.
There you go.
Thank you very much. Saul, I wish you was here. You're going to miss out on some of this delicious. It's crunchy, flavorful, ready to go.
That's good.
Thank you, Kyler Murray, for your continued
Okay.
greatness.
I do ketchup with Cholula on top of the ketchup, and I mix it, and this tastes just like that.
Whoop, whoop. There you go.
All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Goodbye.